Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I have been meaning to do a video like this for a while, and I just haven't gotten around to do it. There's been so much news, so I decided I would do it today. This video is for two people. It's for everybody, but it's for those of you that were not around last December, and it's for those of you that were around last December and who have gone through this bear market with all of us and need a little reminder. So I decided I think it's important to go back every once in a while, and then I love to take a step back and look at what the big picture is, because I think it's so easy for people to get bogged down in the day-to-day negativity of the bear market and the day-to-day this little piece of news that, oh no, this is scary, and people get nervous. But the reason that I've always been so confident with crypto, and the reason that I remain not just confident but 100% sure. I mean, there's not a doubt in my body as far as where we are and what is about to happen, and that is experience combined with studying things, combined with knowing how the system operates, combined with a lot of things. But just being here, it is so obvious and so in your face to me that I stay positive about all this, because there's really not a reason to be negative. This bear market is the greatest gift that I ever received, because I have spent the last year just filling bags, and I'm excited about what's coming. But I want to put it all in perspective for you all, okay? And I'm just going to use a few of these digital assets as an example in this, okay? First thing I want you to look at is this is $123 billion, this market right now. At $123 billion, we have XRP at about 33 cents. We have Ethereum at about $129. We've got Stellar at 10 cents. We've got Tron at 2 cents, 2.5 cents. We got Cardano at almost 4.5 cents. Okay. So I want to take you back to December now. In December, remember, and I went through each one of these. We'll use XRP as the example. And let's go down and let's look back. If you look back to December of this past year, what you'll find while I'm waiting on the little chart here to load. But once this is loaded up, this is back, it's towards the end of December, early January. But if you look here, the highest price, and this is from CoinMarketCap, but the highest price that XRP achieved on CoinMarketCap that I could see in here was $3.65. And then I also went back and I looked at, I'm not going to go through all these. I've already got the prices. I went and looked at them. But I just want to put this in perspective for a lot of you that either have bought or you're buying these right now, to let you know where things were. So XRP was $3.65 versus 33 cents today. Ethereum, I'm not going to go to all the charts, but Ethereum at 129 had gotten as high as $1,389. Stellar is at 10 cents or so. Stellar got as high as 75 cents in last year's bear market. Tron is currently at 2.5 cents. Tron got as high as 25 cents last December, early January. Cardano, which is at 4 cents, was able to get to $1.15. Okay, and with regard to Cardano, I'll reiterate, Cardano is a smart contract platform that is not proof of work. If anybody in this next bull run could go crazy as far as a smart contract platform, Cardano or EOS, who are both non-mined. They are not mined, not proof of work current digital assets. If anybody is going to take out Ethereum or perform quite well with all the proof of work problems that are going on right now, Cardano is the one that I am a big believer in. But anyway, that's a side note. So now that you've seen what all the prices were, let's look at what the market cap was. It was around $800 billion. Now, $800 billion, that sounds like a lot of money. But when you start to look at the world, that's not a lot of money at all. The total wealth, this is an article from CNBC. This was back November of 2017. The total wealth in the world grew by 6% over the past 12 months to $280 trillion. So let's put that in perspective, folks. Last December, now keep in mind, this is last December when no digital assets had any use case that was actually happening yet. There were probably 1/100th of the exchanges that you could get into crypto with. That includes going in and cashing out. Many of the exchanges had locked up and could not even accept new members. In other words, the industry was not even ready for $800 billion. There were not enough personnel to handle the bear market of last year. A lot of people forget this. In other words, that $800 billion with a lot of on and exit ramps and with traditional finance in it, that $800 billion could have easily gone to $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion if there was enough on ramps, exit ramps, and the system was set up and ready for the real money. But it was not. It was not set up for the real money, and everybody knows it. And not only that, Wall Street had not gotten in. And I've always said the powers that be were an integral part of tanking that market when it did get as high as $800 billion. But the point is, there's there's probably more than this, $280 trillion in wealth around the world. And remember, all we're talking about right now is speculation money. We're talking about the speculation money to come into this market. We're not even talking about use cases right now. $280 trillion. Do you know how many times that 800 billion goes into 280 trillion? Well, I did that math. It's 350 times. 350 times. It would be absolutely nothing in the next bull market with Wall Street coming in. Let's just look at who's coming in. Just a brief recap. Bakkt is coming in. This was the one that's owned by the New York Stock Exchange. Fidelity Digital Assets is coming in. We've talked about that. They call it a new asset class. ErisX is coming in. And ErisX is also Wall Street backed. They're backed by the NASDAQ. They're backed by Fidelity. They're backed by TD Ameritrade. They're backed by the CBOE, the Digital Currency Group, which is probably the most powerful group in blockchain. They're backed by Pantera Capital. These guys are backed by big time folks in traditional finance. NASDAQ has said they're coming in. NASDAQ's been a little more secretive than others in terms of they haven't named a digital asset exchange that they're coming out with or anything like that, but they're coming in. The major financial players, Goldman and Morgan Stanley, we've read all the articles. I've shown you all the articles. This one from Morgan Stanley these guys went and found some people with Morgan Stanley who they talked to, and these were actually people from Morgan Stanley talking about how all these firms are gearing up. Many of these traditional financial firms, the Goldmans and the Morgans, many of them have been having conversations with Bakkt. We've covered this. They're either going to go through back and let back take on some of the liability of everything, or they're going to do their own thing that they've been doing behind the scenes. We've been talking about all of this. But back to this, let's back up. $123 billion here, folks. We're talking about $280 trillion of the world's wealth. What if just 10% of that came in, okay? I mean, we're talking over $20 trillion, just 10%, over $20 trillion. And if you think that last December, early January was a bonanza, we have seen absolutely nothing. I mean, nothing yet. And this, keep in mind, all of the things that have been happening for the last 2018, I compare it to the railroad tracks being laid across the United States, across the world, when the railroads of the world were being laid. Nothing happened until those railroad lines were laid. But after they were laid, everything happened. The movement of everything, commerce, you name it. And all that we've been seeing for the last year is the tracks being laid for Wall Street. We've been watching the tracks being laid for Wall Street, but not just that in the case of XRP holders. We've been watching the tracks being laid in terms of use case, the largest use case of any digital asset. Everything that I'm talking about here, the $280 trillion I'm talking about, does not include Ripple's use case for XRP in payments and bank settlement. It does not include the use cases that Spring is working on. It doesn't include Omni, Coil. It doesn't include future use cases. Scooter Braun, who is Justin Bieber's manager, he has said that he's working on things behind the scenes for the music industry. There's been articles. There are use cases we can't even imagine that are coming. And everything that happened in December, in the scheme of things, was nothing. And that is what such beautiful thing is that everything, even in December of last year, that you've seen was nothing. And yes, it's painful for you to have to go through these bear markets. But this bear market, when the history books are written, is the greatest thing that ever happened to the greatest digital asset ever created. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that what happened in December of last year and early January was absolutely nothing in the scheme of things to come. Thank you for listening.